Hi, this is Julie with Beadaholique, and in this video I want to show you how to use vintage framelits. So before I even go into showing you these, I want to let you know what they do because that's what's most important. These are little dies that perfectly cut out the shapes of the interiors of bezels. So I've got a bezel here, and they're going to cut out a circle, which is that exact size, out of either collage artwork, photographs, scrapbooking paper, whatever you might be using and wanting to incorporate into your artisan jewelry designs. These are little cutters, little dies that are going to cut it out perfectly, so you don't have to be tracing, you don't have to do a lot of guesswork, you don't have to put it into Photoshop and make a little circle around your image as a cut line for yourself, which is something I do with my own personal images. So these are pretty fantastic. There's a couple different collections. There's the circles, which are these guys right here. And you'll see on the packaging, they match vintage bezels, as you see pictured. And so here is the actual cut line on the opposite side. And there's 4 different sizes of circles. Then there's ovals with a round as well as a rectangle. And then there's squares with a long rectangle as well. So like I said, I pulled out the circles and I want to show you how to actually use these, and you're going to use them in conjunction with the vintage BIGkick machine. So what we've got here, when you get the machine, you're going to get this platform, and you're also going to get the solo shim. Now something you're going to need that does not come with the machine is this solo thin die adapter. Now if you've done a lot of work with the machine with your etching and embossing dies, you know that this has never come into play, you don't need it. You specifically need this because it adds a little bit of extra height to your platform, which is going to then help these to cut through your paper. So we're going to go ahead and put this right on top of the solo shim. Now we've got our cutting pads. Now I've got some that I have used a lot. They work perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with these. You'll see there's marks on them. And I did want to point out that if it does start to bother you, those marks, you can buy a replacement pack, which are clean and fresh and new. But I use these over and over again. They work fine. So I'm going to go ahead and now put one of the cutting pads onto that adapter sheet. So now we need to find our image. So I have this collage sheet. And what's great about these is you can actually just look through the little hole and figure out what you might like to focus on. So a lot of different choices. And actually, that's pretty cute right there. So I'm going to go ahead and I cut my piece of paper, so it's just a little bit bigger than the actual framelit. I'm going to put that with the actual cutting piece facing down onto the paper, but the paper image facing up. And now I'm going to go ahead and cover this with the second cutting pad. These cutting pads do come with the vintage BIGkick. Is only that adapter sheet that you're going to need to buy to work with the framelits. So now I'm going to just push it in a little further until it catches and starts feeding through the machine by itself when I crank the handle. I'm going to hold on to the top of the machine and just crank the handle clockwise. And it takes absolutely no strength at all. So that was really easy to do. Pull it out. You'll notice on the back we have a cut line and it just pops right out. There we go. And now all we'll have to do is glue it in place into our bezel. And then you can go ahead and top it off with diamond glaze. You can do a regular glaze, you can do resin, whatever you might want to do to seal this in place. So these are really handy. I quite love them actually because I do a lot of mixed media work. And it's very convenient to have these little cutters, these little framelits that are going to cut out the right size shape to fit your bezels. You can find all of these products at Beadaholique.com.